Baba Shuaib, the correctional officer, born in Accra, Ghana, a Quranic researcher and a critical thinker based on religion, who does online lectures based on the guidance of the Quran on platforms such as Facebook, YouTube and TikTok since 2018. In Finland, and 13 years, QBE, in Classical Arabic and MSA in Quranic Arabic. The author of the Refer to the Quran, which helps every novice to understand the steps towards understanding the great Quran and the guidance of God in it.
Time to rise and meet the challenge. Baba Shuaib is calling you out. Meet Baba Shuaib, a correctional officer with a mission. Today he's throwing down the gauntlet to the mushriks, no more holding back. With his logo shirt and cap, Baba Shuaib sits tall and confident. He says, the time for action is now. It's time to rise, to push past limits, and to become the best versions of ourselves. Baba Shuaib believes in the power of determination and resilience. His challenge is simple. Stand up, face your fears, and conquer them. Every day is a new opportunity, he says. An opportunity to grow stronger, to be better, and to leave a mark on the world. So, are you ready to accept Baba Shuaib's challenge? Are you ready to rise above and beyond? Join Baba Shuaib and let's show the world what we're made of, because the only limit is the one you set for yourself.
I don't do anything that I cannot prove. But it seems that when people don't understand what I do or why I'm doing something, they are quick to judge. Quran chapter 18 verse 65. Remember, Moses was a prophet, right? But he went to another servant of God to seek knowledge. Sometimes the perspective you are looking at things, you might think you are right. Till you go and meet another person. Maybe God has gifted him more than you. Then you get to realize, oh, you are actually falling behind. And that is why I open up for dialogue. I watch you just like you watch me. I master the art of double checking you more than you check me. So whatever you think you are coming with, I've already prepared the weapons on the side, because I know all of you are watching, especially the people who are coming for my neck. So I get prepared for all of your heebie-jeebies. This is how I'll be taking all of you one by one when you come at me. So go back and study. Just because you don't have understanding of something doesn't mean the other person is wrong. Just because it's beyond your imagination or understanding. Let's have a dialogue, one-on-one. Baba Shuaib will bring you, and let's face it out. Their argument is that why can't we use that argument for Maryam, saying that how can she have a son without a husband? For a human being, it's normal because God has to will for it to happen. He has to just decree. For a human, it's gonna happen. Are you getting my point? God can make a baby speak. God can make the mountains speak because they are his creation. He can decide to let it happen anyhow. Why is it difficult for human beings to understand? I don't understand.
Yeah, no, I get your point. I get your point.
You see, this mobile phone has been programmed by the manufacturer that I'm the one who owns it, and I should be the only one to make a call, right? But do you know the network provider can make a phone call from my phone without me having the access to it? They can make a phone call themselves. But for some people, they were like, this is impossible. I own the phone. Why should somebody else be able to call from the phone? They will argue on that level. So when it comes to knowledge and wisdom, we are on different levels. Some people are still on the searching level. So when somebody is in the higher level and is speaking, the one on the low level doesn't understand. And the reason why I'm asking for dialogue is dialogue brings clarity. We don't reject hadith, by the way. The Quran is the ahsan al-hadith, the best hadith. We are not hadith rejectors, to be honest. Tell them the Quran is the best hadith. I don't reject the Quran. They are trying to fool you. They are trying to make the hadith an authority. The hadith is never an authority in Islam. It is the Quran which is the authority, and the Quran is the best hadith. And it's a matter of fact, it is the hadith. So they are the ones who reject the Quran because they hate whatever the Quran says. So anybody who speaks for the Quran, they insult you, they tag you a madman and so on. Don't forget, the Prophet himself, he followed the Quran alone, and the people tag him as a madman. Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. The Prophet himself, it was the Quran alone he followed. The mushriks of his time, they tag him as a madman. If they are tagging you a madman or a mad woman now, it was done to the Prophet. Remember that. It is always the mushriks who do that. Don't forget that. Things I said about in the past concerning Hamza Malik, I wasn't lying, right? When I said he doesn't believe in miracle, he doesn't believe in spirits. I right? It irritated that to make people aware that this is his stance. And it's not like he disbelieves it, but I think he said he's not convinced by it. So yes, with time, I know he will catch up on that. You know, we all have different levels of faith and we have different levels of beliefs. But some things which are stated in the Quran, unless if you have a different meaning to it, but some things cannot be denied. It's factual, it's there. Because if you disbelieve in spirit, then how did God actually blow a spirit into Adam? How did he blow spirit into Adam? Does it make sense if you don't believe in spirit? Because God blew his spirit into Adam. When he created the shape of Adam with the clay, then he blew into Adam. Then Adam became a living being. That alone is a spirit God blew into Adam. So if you say you don't believe in spirit, that for me doesn't stand. When you say you believe in the Quran, it doesn't make sense anymore, right? Moses had a stick, he put it down, it became a snake. If you don't believe in spirit, then those things, I don't know what you're trying to make out of it, right? And so those are interesting parts of the discussion, but I'll be playing the video so that you get to hear from the horse's own mouth, right? So that we don't misquote him. Salam, my brother Zamani Badiu, long time, bro. Bless you. My elders, Zaid, salam, I see you. Greetings to you. Peace. Yes, so I'll play, as time goes on, I'll play the video. But as a sidebar, there is something we call hermaphrodite. Is a hermaphrodite. Let me see if I can put it on the screen here. There's hermaphrodite. Yes, hermaphrodite. Then we have what we call parthenogenesis. So let me see if I can put it on the screen. Then people can see what I'm trying to say. There is this. Let me share it on the screen. You can underline what I'm going to show on the screen. So later on, we make a reference point to this. You see, hermaphroditism. Hermaphroditism. So let me make it big. This one, hermaphroditism. That is one. It's in biology. For people who study biology, you can study about that. Yes, hermaphrodite or hermaphroditism. You understand? You should study about that, and it is the study concerning what? It's a biological condition where an organism has both male and female reproductive organs. This trait is common in many plants, invertebrates, and some fish, right? Then apart from that, we have what we call parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis, for also people who study biology, you can find it there. This is it on the screen. For people watching from Facebook and YouTube, I share the tab, right? It's called parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis. So here, let me put the meaning. It says, parthenogenesis is a fascinating form of asexual reproduction where an embryo develops from an unfertilized egg, meaning no male contribution is needed. This process occurs naturally in various organisms, including plants, algae, and then invertebrates like aphids, bees, and some scorpions, and even a few vertebrates such as certain fish, amphibians, and reptiles. Right, so we will go into this topic later on, just to state some point. These are also creations of God, and this is the way God chose to make them be and exist. Right, one animal can give birth on its own without a male touching it. right? So this is also part of the creation of God, and it's a study. It's there. Biology exists. It's factual, right? So if God can do actually let this happen among animals or plants, what makes you think He cannot do it to a human being? You understand? But anyways, let's move on to the main discussion of today. So I'll play Hamza Malik's video, and then we pick it up from there. So let me put the video here. Where's the video? Then we give the breakdown. Yeah, we can. Yeah, salam to you, Isa Shamo. Greetings to you, Isa Shamo from Kintampo. Jacob Astor, peace to you. Thank you all for coming. Yeah, let's go. Deliberate on the references stated. We are going to examine what I don't know who should go first, by cross-examine first.
Since you went first, I guess I should cross-examine you.
Thank you. So you can cross-examine me based on what the claims I've made.
Yeah, based on what you said, yeah. You did say something about Jesus being alive. I mean, being taken up to heaven. And let me just look at that, because you didn't say much about the law of procreation. I didn't hear much about the law of procreation, although.
So this is where Brother Hamza Malik kept on mentioning law of procreation. Jihan, Sister Jia says, no need for post-debate analysis when you already slam dunked. I'm actually going over just to let people pay attention to certain points which we make. This is not necessarily focused on Hamza Malik. It's about the points being stated in the dialogue, where maybe people might not have paid attention, right? And due to this, I don't just want people to rush into conclusion and judging Brother Hamza Malik. You understand? And this is why we call for the dialogue, so people will get to understand that other people do have such perspective. So with time, if the person is willing to accept the truth, yes, we go forward. If the person is not willing to accept, then it will be clear, evident for everybody to see. So that is the reason. Yeah. So let's continue.
You mentioned certain things. You didn't define your talk as dealing with the law of procreation, even though you touched on some.
By the way, salam to my my brother Imran Khan. It's been a while. I've seen you here in the live, and also, yes, Zuleika Hussein is also missing. I think quite a number of people are missing in the live stream, but I know people are working and so on. So, yes.
One of the things that I touched on, but I specifically dealt only with the law of procreation. But a couple of things, let me just look at them, and then I'll look at some other things. I'll ask you. Well, let me ask you this first.
Actually, it was time. It was time to do the cross-examination, right? And Brother Hamza Malik was supposed to focus on the cross-examination, what to ask me concerning the things I spoke about. But at that time, he was kind of confused as to what he wants to ask me, because he's like, he thought he was prepared by bringing in the law of procreation, which is not actually a law. Nowhere did God say that is the law of procreation, right? So Brother Hamza Malik actually thought he was bringing a tangible argument to the table when he brought that point, say law of procreation. So it was later on in the dialogue he realized, no, he was not supposed to say law of procreation, because that's not a law. If it's law, then it should also touch the animals, the plants, and so, because they are also part of creation of God. Yes. So just like I mentioned, the hermaphrodite and also parthenogenesis. Is that parthenogenesis? Just as I mentioned these two things, you can study under biology and then you get to know that we have some animals which are plants which can actually, you know, have both male and female reproductive organs, and then can actually give birth on their own. So let's go.
First of all, chapter 3, verse 44. Are you familiar with that verse?
Is it a verse I quoted?
No, it's not a verse that you quoted, but you alluded to that Mary had no husband or nothing like that. And I'm saying she did have a husband, that she did have a husband.
Does it say husband in the verse?
Well,
So Brother Hamza Malik is trying to, he is insinuating that based on this verse, Mary did has a husband. Did she had a husband? No, it doesn't stand like that. Because it seems to me at that time, Hamza Malik was trying to enforce his opinion over the words of God. So this is where I probe into his claims, and then he tried to fix what he was saying, so you could see it clearly. You understand? So check what happened here.
if you look at the verse, we'll see what it says. Allah gave you enough information to know. It talk. Well, I can tell you. It talks. I can tell you.
Mhm.
You said that she had no husband, so she couldn't have a child or anything. She said, "How can I have a son when no man has touched me?" You said that. Mary is talking in the present terms. The angel is talking in the future terms.
But this is not what God says in the Quran. God never said, okay, this was in the present tense, and then in the future we give her a child. God never said it that way, right? As Hamza Malik is alluding to. I gave enough evidence to show that before Maryam became the mother of Jesus, she was called the mother, or mother of Jesus, right? And then her son was called the son of Maryam. Even the people called him the son of Maryam. If he had a father that they know that he had a father among them, the children of Israel, they will have called him by his father's name, which Hamza Malik knows that, right? Since he knows the Christian Bible so well, he has studied the Christian Bible, so he should know that as part of the children of Israel, the befitting thing the people of Israel should have done was to call him by his father. So they will say the son of Joseph, or the son of this or that. They will not also say the son of Maryam. So even the disbelievers, even the people, they knew that he was the son of Mary because they don't know the father. So that is why some disbelievers among them started worshiping Jesus by attributing it to God and say the son of God. Because if he's not the son of anybody, they have to allocate it to God and say, oh, God gave birth. But it's an insult to God to say the son of God. Just like some Christians are so confused, they will say the son of God, then they will say Jesus is God again. And then they say again, he's on the right side of God. Kaput. So let's go.
Mary is talking from a subjective point of view, not a divine point of view. This is her own personal situation. She's saying she wasn't divinely speaking, and so therefore Allah says, "Kadhalika," so it will be. In other words, what you complain, no man has touched you, someone will touch you, and so as a result of that,
But
we
it
know
doesn't
that.
say someone will touch you.
Well, here's what it says. Here's what I'm telling you now. You have to read this. It says that when how did Mary get to where she was at? Elizabeth, her mother.
So now he started bringing in opinion which are not found in the Quran. So here he kind of lost. He lost me somewhere here. I was like, "What is Hamza Malik saying here?" Right? Yes. Yes, Momade Pedro, salam to you. So pay attention to what he was trying to say here.
Was praying for a child. And so she had what was called the Immaculate Conception. Immaculate Conception, where Jesus was born, with her baby rather, she thought it was going to be a boy, was born without the sin of the devil, but it turned out to be a girl. So she gave She gave.
Now, what he was talking about can be referenced in Quran chapter 3, verse 36, but not in the way he is saying it. Not in the way Hamza Malik was saying it. So I'm going to give the verse here and show you something from the Quran, right? That maybe you were not familiar with. So this is the verse. In Quran chapter 3, verse 35, right? In Quran chapter 3, verse 35, I put it on the screen. This is what the verse says. It says, when the wife of Amram said, this is what Hamza Malik is alluding to, that is Elizabeth, right? So when the wife of Amram said, Lord, I have dedicated what is in my belly in consecration, right, to you. So accept from me, indeed, you are the hearer and the omniscient. Then it continues. Verse 36, and when she gave birth to her, right, that is, you see her here. Wada'at ha, meaning she gave birth to her. She said, Lord, I have given birth to a female, because Maryam was a female, right? Then he says, and God was aware of what she gave birth. So God was aware, right, of what the mother of Maryam gave birth to. Then, and God was aware of what she gave birth, and the male is not like the female, because eventually it is telling us that Amram and his wife actually wanted a male, but instead they got a female, right? So now it goes ahead. It says, I have named her Maryam, and I seek protection for her with you and for her descendants. Somebody might think, oh, the mother already knows she was going to have how many kids. No, she doesn't know. She's just praying. Just like today, I have a daughter and I have a boy. I can pray for them and I pray for their descendants. Be it 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5, God is going to give them. I don't know. But I can pray for her, my kids, and pray for their descendants. Yes. So that is similarly what the wife of Amram was doing, right? So then, against the accursed devil. So the mother sought refuge for Maryam in her belly. She sought refuge for her against the accursed devil and also the descendants, right? Right? So now, verse 37 says, so her Lord accepted her with good acceptance and grew her in good growth. And Zechariah supported her. So here, God is simplifying the statement. Zechariah looked after her, because that is the uncle. He looked after her. He didn't say he married her. He looked after her. God will have used the word he married her. Or God will have used zawajna, just like he used for the prophet. When the prophet married the ex-wife of his adopted son, God will have said, we coupled her with Zechariah. He didn't say that. God instead said supported, meaning looked after somebody. So Zechariah was the one who took care of Maryam. Then Zechariah, whenever Zechariah entered the sanctum, it didn't say her room, entered the sanctum where Maryam was actually devoting herself in prayer to God, to her, he found sustenance with her. He said, oh, Maryam, how did you get this? She said, it was from God. Indeed, God provides for whomever he wills without reckoning. So you see the story. Then it continued, it was there Zechariah invoked his Lord. Lord, grant me a good offspring from you. Indeed, you are the hearer of invocation. Because he saw she's a good girl, he is also praying for, because remember, Zechariah's wife was barren. She was sterile. She couldn't give birth to a child. Yes. But nowhere did God ever tell us that Maryam was a barren or she was sterile, that she cannot give birth. So Maryam is different from the wife of Zechariah. So I don't know how some Quran alone followers, but this is what I'm saying. In the comment section, it's just easy. People can just type bullshit and trash statements however they want. It is when you put them live on a dialogue, that is when you see them stammering. Yes, articulation is different from typing. If you are in the comment section and you think you can be writing your BS, fine, you can keep writing anything you want. I see some of them saying Zechariah is the husband of Maryam, and Zechariah is the father of Jesus. Hey, my God. Oh, my God. Anyways, let's go.
girl to Zechariah to take care and rear the girl up. So he took her in the temple or wherever he took her at. He was a priest, a noble man, maybe even a prophet, I don't know, but he was the best man at the time to care for this child.
Zechariah is a prophet.
Okay, so
So Zechariah was a prophet. If you want to find that evidence, you can go to Quran chapter 6. When you start reading from 83, chapter 6, verse 83, you read up to 89, you see Zechariah mentioned among the list of prophets, right? So let me put it on the screen here. So here, when you read, you start reading from, let's say, 84. God says, and we granted him Isaac as well as Jacob. Each we guided, but we guided Noah before, and from his descendants, David, Solomon, Job, Joseph, Moses, and Aaron. And thus did we reward the benevolent. Also Zechariah, John, Jesus, and Elijah, all were among the righteous. Also Ishmael, Isaiah, Jonah, and Lot. And each we favored over all people, also among their fathers and their descendants and their brothers, and we chose them and guided them to a straight path. That is the guidance of God by which he guides whomever he wills among his servants, and if they had associated others, whatever they had done will have been worthless for them. Those are the ones to whom we gave the book, the judgment, and prophethood. So Zechariah was part of the list of those who were given prophethood. So Zechariah was a prophet of God, right? So whilst I was discussing with Hamza Malik wasn't sure of that. So yes, I told him, yes, Zechariah was a prophet, right? So these are some of the points that you need to pay attention during the dialogue, because some things you might not be paying attention during when it's live. But when it's on the playback, you need to take your time and study the references we are giving or what we are talking about. It's very, very important. This is how you learn from people, right? So let's continue the video, right? Yeah, salam to you, Momo Zakari.
the best one to take care of her. But later on, we read in what the verse I was alluding to in chapter 3, verse 44, when some people came to Zechariah.
So this is where Hamza Malik was missing the point, and actually reflecting on the Arabic language first before you reflect on the English will help you. When you reflect on English alone, there's a problem. You need to first reflect on the Arabic Quran first before you reflect on the English translation. So the missing link Hamza Malik failed to realize was when he was reading Quran chapter 3, when you read concerning Maryam, when her mother was praying for her, when the mother gave birth to her, start reading from chapter 3, verse 35. When you are coming down to 36 to 37, you realize that Zechariah was made to take care of her. The word used, the word kafala. This kafala is to support somebody, to look after somebody, to take care of somebody. It doesn't mean to marry somebody. But here, that same word was used again in Quran chapter 3, verse 44. Hamza Malik didn't pay attention to that. So he was rather saying that I think he was trying to insinuate that somebody became a husband or Zechariah became a husband. But you are going to find out from the statement he just made. Pay attention.
To draw straws to see who would now take Mary from Zechariah.
Let's check the verse.
Okay, good.
Quran chapter 3, verse 44.
Yeah.
It says, that is from the news of the unseen, which we inspire to you, in the second person pronoun, so speaking to the messenger. For you, Muhammad, were not with them when they cast their pens. It mentioned aklam, pens, as to which of them should support, that is to look after her. The word yakfulu, it means to take care of somebody, to be in care. So as to which should support Maryam, nor were you with them when they were disputing. So in this verse,
yeah,
I don't see any notion of any husband here.
The point is that Mary was given listening at the words, she was given in the care of Zachariah, and he took care of her until she got to a certain age. She's getting a certain age. He can't just keep her in some place forever. She's of an age now where she needs to get out and go on her own. So it's verse is showing that somebody came, some group of eligible people came there and they were qualified. And so that Zechariah had them draw straws to see who would take her out of his care. He was going to now give them. They were going to take Mary. Mary was given, now they come to take. She was given, now they come to take her. And so
But
they drew the straws to see what they drawing straws from? Any one of them more qualified than Zachariah to take care of Mary? The people who came to draw straws? Why would he give her in the care of someone less qualified than him, a prophet, to take care of her? It must have been for a husband. And then we go on to show about how she conceived the child and conception take place and all that. I made those arguments. It's too long to make here now, but I'm saying if you haven't considered those kind of things, these things will answer a lot of your questions. They're in my video that I
but me,
dealt.
Brother Hamza, me, as you know me, I let the verses of God speak. Whatever
Yeah.
you are saying to me now, with all due respect, it doesn't work with me.
Okay.
I want references to speak to me. I want the book of God to speak to me.
Yeah.
Whatever story you are coining around the story, this is your perspective of the story.
Yeah.
This is not coming from God. I just want you to show me the verse you are giving me. Where does it insinuate that there's a husband in the picture here?
Well, we're going to have the same.
So guys, pay attention. I'm going to show you the assumption Hamza Malik was using. I'm going to show you when you read from the Quran, that assumption is flawed. I'm going to show you. Hamza Malik was using chapter 3, verse 44 as his reference point. And now check what happened. I'm going to show you something. He was using chapter 3, verse 44 as his reference point. This is chapter 3, verse 44. That is from the news of the unseen, which we inspire to you, talking to the messenger. For you, the messenger, Muhammad, were not with them when they cast their pens as to which of them should support her. Because Zachariah was already supporting her, but now they have to now cast their pens again, who should support her. The same word used for Zachariah taking care of her, the same word is repeated again. You understand? In Quran chapter 3, verse 37, it was used. And now it was repeated again. Right? You can check the word. Kafala and yakfulu, same root word. So thou should support her. Then when you go to 45, this is where it gets interesting. According to Hamza Malik, from chapter 3, verse 44, he is drawing conclusion that means somebody married her or somebody took her in marriage. This was from his assumption, not from the fact of the verses. Now let's go to the next verse. Chapter 3, verse 45. And then what? It says, when the angel said, "Oh, Maryam, indeed, God gives you good news of a word from him whose name will be the Messiah, Jesus, the son of Mary, prominent in the world and the hereafter, and among those nearby." Now check what will happen. Verse 46, and he will speak to the people in the cradle as well as in middle age, and as one of the righteous. Verse 47, she, Maryam, said, Lord, how can I have a son while no man has touched me? So according to Hamza Malik, if verse 44 is Hamza Malik is insinuating that she got married or somebody now took charge to take care of her in marriage, how come now 2 verses below, now Maryam is saying, how can I have a son while no man has touched me? So according to Hamza Malik, if that verse 44 is rather insinuating that she got married, which means what is wrong with the man who married her? The man cannot touch her. What? The man didn't touch her. Nothing is happening. What is happening? Or the man is impotent or what? So this is where she now said, how can I have a son while no man has touched me? He, the angel, said, does God create whatever he wills? Because we are talking about creation of God. God creates whatever he wills. People think God has to follow a law to do a creation. I'll give you verses to back this claim up. God creates whatever he wills. It would be naive of a person to think that, why did God create something like this? God can create whatever he wants. Yes. Look, even a human being can be created with 2 organs. There are documentaries available. Go to India and investigate if it doesn't exist. Go investigate. For people who study biology, they will tell you. A human being can be born and he has 2 organs. God creates whatever he wills. You can see a human being created by 2 people in one body. God creates whatever he wants. Why is it difficult for people to understand? Now, does God create whatever he wills? Whenever he decrees a command, then he only says to it be, then it becomes. Still, people don't understand it. So let me show you verses to back that God can create whatever he wills. If you go to Quran chapter, let me give you the verse here. Quran chapter 28, verse 68. See what God says here. 28, verse 68. God says, and your Lord creates whatever he wills and chooses. The choice is not for them. Glory be to God, and exalted above what they associate. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly pay attention to this verse. Kindly pay attention to this verse I just put on the screen. Chapter 28, verse 68. Pay attention to this verse carefully. It says, and your Lord creates whatever he wills and chooses. The choice is not for you, the people, for them. No, it's not your choice, the way God wants to create. So Jesus is a creation of God. Yeah, he is a creation of God. Just like animals are creations of God. Just like what plants are creation of God. So God can create whatever he wills. What is your issue? What is your issue? God created Adam without a father and mother. God created Eve without a father and mother. And you think God cannot repeat something similar? He is the one who initiated the creation and repeats it. Why don't people understand this? Let me put a verse on the screen. In Quran chapter 30, verse 11, listen to what God says. In chapter 30, verse 11. Unless if people don't value God the way he deserves to be valued. Quran chapter 30, verse 11. God, Allah who initiates the creation and then repeats it. Then to him you'll be returned. Now listen carefully. The word repeat. Let's say Baba Shribe says, I said the word boy. And then you ask me, Baba Shribe, repeat what you said. I need to repeat the same thing I said. Again, boy. So if God can create Adam without a father and mother, can create Eve without a father and mother, so you think it's difficult for him to create Jesus without a father? Hello? So Hamza Malik went ahead to say law of procreation. I said, show me where it says law of procreation. You can never show me a verse where God says that's a law. I just gave you a verse. God creates whatever he wills. Yes. Whatever he wills. There is no limit to his creation. He can create whatever he wills. Why is it difficult? So he's the one who initiates the creation and then repeats it. Why is it difficult? People say, oh, that is against the law of procreation. What? God started the creation in the first place. He is going to repeat it. He can repeat it. Yes. But why is it difficult for people to understand? The reason why it is difficult all this while, the dialogue you watch between me and Hamza Malik, do you know why it is difficult? Because Hamza Malik doesn't believe in miracle. He doesn't believe in spirit. Do you see the complicated aspect of the dialogue? These two things, that is what was making Hamza Malik put himself in the corner. This was the problem in the dialogue. Hamza Malik doesn't believe in miracle and doesn't believe in spirit. So these two things were the things putting him in a tight corner. Yes, that is the only thing that shackled Hamza Malik in the dialogue. If Hamza Malik can come out of the shackle of saying, I don't believe in miracle, I don't believe in spirit, this dialogue would not even be going the direction it's going. We will have the dialogue without any confusion even. Are you getting my point? So Hamza Malik's stance was to say he doesn't believe in spirit. Okay, with spirit, we are still yet to find out. When we have the second part of our dialogue, we are going to find out if he still believes in spirit or not. But if you can believe a spirit came to Maryam in the human form, and we are telling you Jesus is also a spirit in a human form, how is that difficult to understand, ladies and gentlemen? No, tell me, is it difficult to understand? If you can believe, Quran chapter 19, verse 16, you read up to 21, you can believe a spirit came to Maryam in the human form, then how is that difficult for Jesus to be a spirit in a human form? How is that difficult? Hello, is that difficult? Guidance of God comes from God, and it is only the verses of God that can guide you. If you don't believe in the verses of God, you will never get guidance. Quran chapter 16, verse 104. Thank you, the real Mishizi sniper. Chapter 16, verse 104. It is the verses of God you need to believe to get guidance. You don't believe, nobody can convince you. You get my point? Isa what you say, the problem is that Malik is harboring on we created you in pairs, and that Allah doesn't change his ways. This is his problem. Yes, this is his understanding. This is where the complication is, because God does whatever he wills. God doesn't follow a law. Hamza Malik is saying God is following a law. God is beyond time, beyond rules, beyond law, beyond anything. You don't tell God, God, you cannot do this. No, you cannot. God can decide, could do that. You understand? If it is his choice, he can decide to do that. But he doesn't want false attribution. The reason why God is angry when we attribute falsehood to him, this is the reason. I'm going to show you. Quran chapter 7, verse 33. The reason why God is angry with people when they falsely attribute something to him, this is the reason. God says, say, my Lord only forbids obscenities, what is apparent thereof and what is hidden of sin, and oppression without right, and to associate others with him, that is with God, for which he has not sent down any authority, and to say what you do not know about God. To say what you do not know about God. Just like some of the Christians do. They don't know this about God, but they lie about God and say God has a son. And then they say Jesus is God. And then they say God is the Father. And then Jesus is the second God. Then they say Holy Spirit is God. Who is God? And Jesus himself in John chapter 17 verse 3, he said God is the only true God. Only. He used the word only true God. So which means any other God you are trying to attribute to God is false God. But only one God. But Christians will still find reason, excuse, because they don't want to admit the book is contradictive. Their book is full of contradiction. Yes. Anyways, so let's continue the point here. Let me. I was trying to quote a verse. I just forgot what verse. I wanted to quote a verse. I just forgot about the verse before I opened this verse. Anyways, I was talking about God creates whatever he wills, right? Yes. The other day I was saying that God can cause anything to speak, anything he wants. He can make anything speak. He can make a baby speak. For people who support what Hamza Malik says, they don't believe a baby can speak. Like a baby, a baby can speak like by spirit. They don't believe in that because Hamza Malik doesn't believe in spirit. So they don't believe, right? So I'm going to show you a verse where God says he can cause anything to speak. Quran chapter 41 verse 20. Quran chapter 41 verse 20. I'm going to read up to verse 21. Now see what happens here, right? Where is the verse? This is the verse. It says, until when they reach it, their hearing, their eyesight, and their skins will testify against them for what they used to do. Verse 21. And they, the transgressors, will say to their skins, why have you testified against us? They, the skins, will say, listen to the word, they will say, God caused us to speak, the one who causes all things to speak. For he created you the first time, and to him you are returned. Now, a person who doesn't believe in spirit will tell you, oh my God, how does my skin speak? How can my speak? Oh my God. The God who created heavens and the earth knows the language of everything. He gave you example by using Suleiman to let you know Solomon can understand the language of birds. You watch National Geography. National Geography, don't even the scientists, are they not able to tell you some of the language of animals and the communication they do? So God, the God who understands the language of everything within his creation, he is telling you he will cause anything to speak. And then it's difficult for people to understand. They say, no. Are you telling me a baby can speak? No. So somebody who doesn't believe in miracles or spirit cannot understand this part. You see the point? So God can cause anything to speak. Yes. Anything he wants, he can let it speak. That is God. Because it is his creation. He doesn't follow anybody's rules. So then when we see the law of procreation, where did God stipulate that and say this is a law so it doesn't change the law? God is God. Guys, have you ever been in the company, you are working for a boss and then the boss decides to break his own rules? Yeah. Because he is the boss. That's how it works. A boss can break his own rules. A boss can tell a worker, don't come late. A boss can come late. You don't dare tell a boss, why did you come late? It is his company. See, the God who created the heavens and earth, he can make laws and break them. Nobody can question him. God, why did you make a law and break it? Yes, God decides whatever he wants. Look, concerning the judgment of God, this is what God says. In Quran chapter 18, verse 26, the judgment of God, this is what he says. He says, say, God is aware of how long they lingered. To him belongs the unseen of the heavens and the earth. He sees thereby and hears. They have no guardian besides him, and he does not partner anyone in his rule. God doesn't share partner in his rule. Sister Jehan says, careful, Baba. Hamza will say you are differentiating between prophets by pointing out how God favored certain prophets with various miracles. Yes. I don't know. That part I couldn't understand Hamza Malik when he says I was differentiating. I was just opening verses of God to show him what God says. As a matter of fact, you brought a point. I like this point you just brought. This is what God says concerning raising the prophets and messengers in rank. Chapter 2, verse 253. Check what God says concerning giving them favors and ranks. Now, God says, these messengers, we favored some of them over others. Now, this is not me speaking, it's God, but I'm quoting from the book of God. This is exactly what I wanted Hamza Malik and I to do on that day. But Hamza Malik thought it was me differentiating. No, it was God who has already done it. Are you getting the point? I didn't do it. It was God who has already done that. These messengers that you see in the Quran, we favored some of them over others. God did that. I didn't do that. Among them is one to whom God spoke. Remember, God spoke to Moses, but he didn't speak to the other prophets directly. Among them is one to whom God spoke. Right? Then he says, and he raised some of them in degrees. Not me, Baba Shoaib. I didn't raise the prophet in degrees. God raised some of them, not all of them. He raised some of them in degrees. This is not about differentiating by us, because God is not telling you not to differentiate. It is God doing the differentiation here. He's telling you the difference between them on what he has given them in terms of their qualities, right? This is not differentiation in terms of separation. We are not separating the prophet. Nowhere are we saying that Messenger Muhammad is not Muhammad, the messenger of God. We don't separate among the messengers God have mentioned in the Quran. We believe in all of the messengers he mentioned. So God says, And he raised some of them in degrees. So apart from favoring them, he has also raised them in degrees. Do you see the point here? Apart from God favoring some of them over others, he raised some of them in degrees. Just like in the classroom, we have ranks. You have the class prefect, you have the assistant, you have this, you have organizer, you have secretary. Everybody has a degree. But you are working for the same team or the same purpose, right? Good. So now, and we gave Jesus, the son of Maryam, proofs and supported him with Holy Spirit. Nowhere in the Quran does it say God supported any prophet or messenger with the Holy Spirit. And this was the line I was drawing between me and Hamza Malik on that day. I was showing him he should give me a verse where God says he supported any other prophet or messenger in the Quran with the Holy Spirit. Hamza Malik keeps saying we should not differentiate. I showed him the meaning of the farriq. When we say la nufarriqu bayna ahadin min rusul, it means do not separate or cause division by saying this is not a messenger of God and this is a messenger of God. That's not the point. But Hamza Malik thought when we say differentiation, we are talking about rank. This one has a father, this one doesn't have a mother. He thought that is what it means. That's not what it means, right? So then, and this verse says, and if God had willed, those after them will not have what? Have fought each other after what had come to them of proofs. But they deferred, and among them were those who believed, and among them were those who disbelieved. And if God had willed, they will not have fought each other. But God does what he intends. You understand? So let's go on and listen to the further things that Hamza Malik had to say during the discussion.
You said that the baby 1 day old was speaking, that Mary
I never
came.
said 1 day old. I never
how,
said.
how
I never
old was
said
the how old she was carrying him?
yes, she was carrying him. Yes.
So let's assume he was 6 months old.
So and then
So he's 6 months old, but he's already been given, not gonna give. He's been given the book, and he's already been made a prophet. And
okay.
and
You
not
realize
only that, now
because God already sent him as a messenger, he's coming to the earth. He's been sent as a messenger. Remember, he's a spirit who came in a human form. I don't think that part, if whether Hamza Malik understands that part yet, but we will find out in the second dialogue. Isa is a spirit who came in a human form. The spirit who came to Maryam in Quran chapter 19, verse 16, when you read up to 21, the spirit who came to Maryam in the human form, is he God? No. Is he the son of God? No. He's just a spirit from God. Isa likewise is a spirit from God, but he happened to be in a human form. How difficult is that for people to understand? The angels who came to the angels who came to Lot, the angels who came to Ibrahim, were they not in human forms? How is that difficult to understand? So I gave the verse, Quran chapter 4, verse 171. It says Isa is a spirit from God. Yes, he's a spirit. So then I told Hamza Malik, show me where in the Quran. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, anybody listen to me right now. Show me from the Quran where it says Isa is a human like us. Where it says. Don't show me verses and say he ate food, he ate this, he that. No, don't be wasting my time with that. Show me where it says Isa is a human like us. Just like Muhammad is a human like us. Noah is a human like us. Moses and so on are human being like us. Anybody should show me a verse where it says Isa is a human like us. That's all I'm asking. Whilst we were having the dialogue, this verse, Quran chapter 3, verse 48. Quran chapter 3, verse 48. Had we read this verse, there's something interesting concerning what God was telling Isa here. If you read the verse above here, right? Verse 47, it says, she, Miriam, said, Lord, how can I have a son while no man has touched me? He, the angel, said, does God create whatever he wills? This is where the argument should stop. God can create whatever he wills. How is that difficult for a human being to understand? How? Whenever he decrees a command, then he only says to it, be, then it becomes. Okay, let's go to 48. And he, God, will teach him the book, the wisdom, the Torah, and the Injil. So before Isa came on earth, he has been taught. So when you continue to verse 49, after he has been taught the book, the wisdom, the Torah, and the Injil, verse 49, as a messenger to the children of Israel. He's been sent as a messenger. Indeed, I, Jesus, have brought you a miracle, a sign from your Lord. I can create for you out of clay like the shape of a bird. Then I will blow into it and it will become a bird by the permission of God. A normal human being cannot do this. And I can cure the blind. I can cure the blind and the leper, and I can give life to the dead by the permission of God. A human being cannot do this. I can inform you of what you will eat and what you will store, right, in your houses. Indeed, there is a sign, because Isa himself is a sign in that for you, if you should be believers. He brought a sign. He himself is a sign. Then it continues, and confirming what was before me of the Torah, and to make lawful for you some of what was forbidden to you. So here, some things that were forbidden to them, Isa was coming to make it lawful for them. So which means that if God has made something unlawful in the past, the law is now what? Changing. Hello? The law is changing. So if you say the laws of God does not change, God can decide to do anything he wants. In the past, he can make a law, and in the future, he can make a new law. He is God. Look, I work for my boss in the sales and marketing department. My boss can tell me, hey, today I want these things to be done this way. After 1 month, my boss tell me, hey, we are not going to do that other thing again. We do it this way. And you don't dare challenge him and say, why? He's the boss. Do it this way. Oh yeah, or you get fired. God is God. He can do anything he wants. People don't understand this. Okay. Then Isa said, what? Isa said, some of what was forbidden to you, and I have brought you a sign, that is a miracle from your Lord. So beware of God and obey me, because he was sent as a messenger to them. Right? Then he says, indeed, God is my Lord and your Lord, so worship him. This is the straight part. He never said worship me, because Isa is not God. He is not God. Yes, he might be divine because God sent him as a spirit in a human form. Yes, it is divine. Just as the spirit who came to Maryam was also divine. It was sent from God. Divine, but it doesn't make that person, that entity, a God. That is the difference between us who believe in the Quran and the Christians. They are attributing godly status to Jesus, which is naivety. Right? To say Jesus is God. Abraham never knew of any God called Jesus. Only the Christians of today, they knew somebody called Jesus and he's a God. What Abraham never knew, even Moses never knew somebody called Jesus. When Moses, according to the Christians, they say Moses was worshiping who? Yahweh. So Yahweh, Moses never knew a name called Jesus. You now, you form a name called Jesus. You say Jesus is God. Kaput. Anyways, let's continue.
But They're accusing Mary of some illicit type of relationship, yet the child mentions nothing about an illicit relationship in his response. He talks about him being made a prophet.
No,
So,
they didn't mention any illicit relationship. They
yeah,
didn't say they didn't say you have a relationship with
yeah,
somebody. They say you brought something unprecedented. Faria
yeah,
means
yeah,
nobody has ever done it. We never
yeah.
seen it. So they were not accusing her of. Now, the word mentioned in the verse I was talking to Hamza Malik in Quran chapter 19, right? When you start reading from 29, when the family said you have brought something unprecedented, Faria, it never happened. It has never happened. It's unprecedented, right? So that is the amazement here. If it is a man and a woman having a child, then Mary would have never been an issue. Then that means it's not unique. People, a man and woman can just sleep and have a child. Then what is unique about Jesus? If he has a human father, or he has a father, what will be unique about Jesus then? Tell me. Because then he will be just like Moses. Nothing unique. His mother will not be even idolized. Are you getting my point? Having an illicit. They are just questioning the motive of having a child with you. Where is this from? That's all they said. They didn't accuse her of anything. The verses were clear. That's why I let the verses speak for themselves. But Hamza, is there anyone among humans who is considered a spirit?
A spirit?
Yes.
A spirit?
Ladies and gentlemen, pay close attention to the question I asked Hamza and how he's trying to deflect from the question and change the course of the question. Pay attention to the question. They speak for themselves. But Hamza, is there anyone among humans who is considered a spirit? Did you hear the question? Did you hear the question? Pay attention to the question. Thank you, Zain Mohammed, for the gifts. Thank you. Super chat. God bless you. Umar Sataur, thank you. God bless you for the gifts. I appreciate that. Thank you. God bless you too. Pay close attention. Exactly. They give them godly attributes. Yes. Which is wrong. Pay close attention to the question I asked Hamza Malik. And now check what Hamza Malik was about to do.
A spirit?
Yes.
A spirit?
Yes.
No, not a spirit. Allah said they asked you about the rule. They said the rule is of.
I didn't say the spirit. I say a spirit. Hamza Malik is trying to quote chapter 17, verse 85. I think verse 85 or verse 86 to say about when they ask you about the spirit. The spirit. That I didn't say the spirit. I said, is there any human being who is considered a spirit? That's the question.
Of Allah and of knowledge you have a little. You don't know about the rule, whatever the rule is.
Was Isa a spirit? That's the question I was asking him. Was Isa a spirit? The question is not about everyone has a spirit. As a matter of fact, I challenge anybody. Come and show me where it says everyone has a spirit. It was only Adam God created and blew his spirit into Adam. Apart from that, God never said anywhere everyone has a spirit. You have a soul. You have a nafs. He never said everyone has a spirit. So stop lying to yourself, twisting the words of God out of proportion. There's nowhere where it says everyone has a spirit. Right? Pay attention clearly. What you have from the action of a sperm, what you have, we don't call it you have a spirit. We say you have a nafs, you have a soul. You have a soul. Adam had a spirit blown into him. You, the ordinary human being, you didn't have any spirit blown into you. It takes a man and a woman to have sex and then copulate you due to the sperm. Yeah, are you getting the point here? But Maryam, she had a spirit blown into her. The angel who came to her in the human form didn't come to sleep with her, because then it will be an action of sperm. He didn't sleep with her. Unless if you want to tell us God is lying. So stop twisting the words of God to suit your needs. The question is Isa a spirit or not? Yes, he is a spirit. This is the answer. Chapter 4, verse 171. I put it on the screen. This is the verse. God says, "O people of the book, do not trespass in your religion nor say about God except the truth." So let's stop deceiving ourselves with lies and talk about the truth. What God says is what you say. Don't come and use your own whims and desires and twist the words of God. God says the Messiah Jesus, the son of Maryam, was only a messenger, and his word, number one, which he delivered to what? To Maryam as a spirit, and a spirit from him. This is the word here. Ya ala al-kitab, la taglu fi dinikum, wala taqulu ala Allahi illa al-haq. Innama al-masihu Isa ibn Maryama Rasulullahi wa kalimatuhu alqaha ila Maryama wa ruhun minhu. So Isa is a spirit from God. Isa is a spirit from God. He didn't say he has spirit inside him. When people try to twist the words of God like this, I'm trying to what is wrong with your head? Where is he saying, oh, Isa has a spirit from inside him? It is telling you Isa himself is a spirit. He's not saying about the Isa having a spirit inside him. He said Isa is a spirit. Simple. God is not a spirit. Nowhere does it say in the Quran God himself is a spirit. If you say God is a spirit, that means he becomes equal with his creation, because a spirit was sent to Maryam in the form of a human being. Jesus himself is a spirit who also came in the human form. So if you say God is a spirit, which means you have equated him with his creation. God is not a spirit. God is God. He explains who he is in the Quran. So when people say, the question I was asking Hamza Malik was clear, explicit, because I'm basing the evidence from the word of God. Nur Melanie, you're quoting chapter 58, verse 22. I'll come to that. Let me deal with the chapter 58, verse 22 is talking about supporting with the spirit. It doesn't mean we are spirits. No. Isa, as I'm saying in Quran chapter 4, verse 171, God is classifying Isa to be a spirit. Yes. So God is, as a matter of fact, before God will even say Isa was a spirit, he even said, do not trespass in your religion, nor say about God except the truth. So if you're talking about God, make sure it is the truth you are going to tell the people. That is the words of God. Don't come and give your opinions. It's not needed. What you're saying, can it be found in the words of God? Yes, it can be found. Prove it. That's it. Go your way. Simple. When I asked Hamza Malik the question, Hamza Malik said, no,
No more than that, we all have the spirit of Allah in us. We all have the spirit of Allah.
Simple
not
question.
a spirit.
Listen to the question I was asking Hamza Malik. And he is saying we all have spirits of God inside us. There's no verse that back that up, which says we all have spirit inside us. No verse. It was only Adam who had a spirit blown into him. It doesn't say we, all of us, have a spirit inside us. Nowhere. Quran chapter 58, verse 22. Yes, if you are a believer who follow the words of God, you can be supported with a spirit, because you already have nafs. You have a soul, but you can be supported with a spirit. But it doesn't mean we all have spirit inside us. I don't know who is teaching people this, and where are people getting these opinions from. Listen to the question I asked Hamza Malik, and then he deflected. Pay attention.
Of Allah and of knowledge you have a little. You don't know about the rule, whatever the rule is.
Was Isa a spirit?
No more than that we all have the spirit of.
You see, when a person doesn't want to answer a question, a simple question like this, there's something the person is trying to hide. Psychology tells you this. When a woman asks a man, do you love me? The 2 oranges and the pineapples, there's something the person is hiding. Did you steal my food? The food, there are different types of food in the world. There's there's the smelly one, there's with then you say which type of, something to hide. A simple question. Is Isa a spirit? I didn't ask him to explain anything. This question demands yes or no. But at the end of the day, Hamza Malik fell in the trap. Then I used the verses of God to show him the evidence he didn't actually pay attention to before. So let's check.
Of Allah and of knowledge you have a little. You don't know about the rule, whatever the rule is.
Was Isa a spirit?
No more than that we all have the spirit of Allah in us.
This statement he said cannot be backed up by the verse of the Quran.
All have the spirit of Allah. Not a spirit.
Then he is saying not a spirit. He says Isa is not a spirit, even though Quran says he is a spirit.
He wasn't a spirit being.
Then he says he wasn't a spirit.
Like the Bible says, the spirit has no flesh and bones as you see me have.
We are not talking about the Bible.
He wasn't a spirit walking around like a ghostly person.
I wasn't talking in that sense.
We all have the spirit of Allah in us. And I have something here. It would take me too long to read it on the spirit. I have it right here in front of me right now.
But brother, I'm asking a simple question.
Yeah.
Was Isa a spirit? It's just a simple question. It's a simple question. This question doesn't demand explanation. It doesn't demand explanation. Guilty or not guilty? It's either you say guilty or you say not guilty. It doesn't need explanation. Don't explain. Explanation, you deflect. Pay attention.
No, not a spirit.
So now he's answered the question. He says, no. This is the answer I needed. Is Isa a spirit? No, not a spirit. So now let's go to the Quran. So let me give you a verse where it says he's a spirit.
Yeah.
Quran chapter 4, verse 171.
No.
You said, no, he's not a spirit. So let's ask God.
Yeah, that he was a human being.
No, you said, no, he's not a spirit. So I'm
because he's a human being.
Wait, I'll come to that.
Possession.
Ladies and gentlemen, the spirit who came to Maryam in a human form, are we going to classify him a spirit or a human being? Ladies and gentlemen, be the judge in the comment section. Just be honest. The spirit who came to Maryam in the human form. Let me give you the verse. Chapter 19. Verse 17. Let me put it on the screen. Chapter 19, verse 17. When Maryam, she took a partition other than them, a family, then we sent our spirit to her, and it appeared to her as a normal human. Now I'm asking you, ladies and gentlemen, just be honest with God in the comment section. That entity who came to Maryam, is he a spirit or is he a human being? Just be honest. Give me the answer in the comment section. Ladies and gentlemen, be honest. Chapter 19, verse 17. If you actually worship God and you are sincere, just be sincere with God. Wallahi, if you write a human being, you are a hypocrite. Wallahi, if you write that entity is a human being, you are a hypocrite. Wallahi, wallahi. Chapter 19, verse 17. If you write that it is a human being, wallahi lazim, God made you are a hypocrite. Wallahi, you are a hypocrite. Because you saw in the verses God clearly telling you we sent our spirits. God is calling it a spirit, and it came in the human form doesn't mean it's a human being. You'll be a fool to classify that entity as a human being just because it appeared in a human form. You are a fool, to be honest. If Baba Shuaib is not a police officer and I dress as a police officer and you assume I'm a police officer, you are a fool. I'm not a police officer. Just because I wear a police uniform does not make me a police officer. This is the logic you need to understand. People are studying Quran and following Quran, but not everyone is on the same level. Levels are different. God mentioned in Quran chapter 17, chapter 12. Let me see if I can remember the verse. Is it verse 76? Yes. Chapter 12, verse 76. God says, وَفَوْقًا كُلِّ ذِي إِلْمٍ أَلِيمٍ. This is what it says. It says, for above every possessor of knowledge is the all-knowing. Right? We all strive to God and we seek knowledge from God. But God has increased some people in knowledge more than other people. But when you are not sincere with knowledge, there's no way God will elevate you. There's no way he will elevate you in knowledge, in status. You have to be sincere with the knowledge God gives you. Quran chapter 2, verse 255. Oh, sorry. Quran chapter 2. Let me put chapter 2, verse 255. This is what God says concerning knowledge. In this verse, he says what? Here. وَلَا يُحِيطُونَ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنْ إِلْمِهِ إِلَّا بِمَا شَاءَ. He says, and none encompasses anything from his knowledge except for what he wills. So except what God wills. You understand? None encompasses anything from the knowledge of God, from his knowledge, except for what he wills. So from the knowledge that God has given you, you have to be sincere with what he teaches you, because you have to tell people what you can prove. Quran chapter 19, verse 17. And she took a partition other than them. Then we sent our spirit. It is God now talking to you. You already know the truth. You know it is a spirit. So when you go ahead to say it is a human being, you are a fool. I'm serious. The correct way you should say it is a spirit in a human form. Yes, that is logical. If you say it is a spirit in a human form, logical. Just like the stick of Moses, the stick that Moses had, the staff, that became the snake. That staff is not a snake. That staff is a staff. But it becomes a snake. Because originally, the origin of the thing is what you determine what that thing is. Originally, that thing is a stick. Then it becomes a snake. So it is a stick which becomes a snake. So that thing is not a snake. Originally, when Moses had it, it's not a snake. It is a stick, his staff. That's how logic works. So now, I'm asking you a simple question. Quran chapter 19, verse 17. God sent his spirit, and the spirit appeared. He didn't say even became. He says it appeared to her as a normal human. So, when God said Isa is a spirit, you don't turn the tables around again and say, oh, but you know, Isa came in the human form. Look, God has already given you examples of everything. But guess what? The human being is very, very argumentative. This is what God says in Quran chapter 18, verse 54. This is what God says. And we have certainly conducted in this Quran of every example for the people, but the human being is disputing most things. The human being is a disputer. Regardless, you can show the human being color white. I'm wearing the white shirt. This white is a white shirt. Wallahi, it's a white shirt. Some people will be in the comment section who can argue with you and say this is not white. To be honest, some people will be in the comment section and then they will tell you this is not white. Isa is a spirit. God said he's a spirit. You who said he's a human being like us, I dare you. I'll open the phone lines. I dare anybody watching me. Come and prove to me where it says Isa is a human being like us. Wallahi, I dare you. Call me and show me where it says Isa is a human like us. You can never bring me that evidence. So at the end, it is just your whims and desires you're using to speak on behalf of God instead of letting God speak. If you believe the Quran is the truth, let the Quran explain itself. So Nur Melanie asked me chapter 58 verse 22. Here, God is talking about supporting the people with a spirit. It doesn't say they have a spirit inside them or with them, inside them. So here, you will not find the people who believe in God in the last day befriending those who oppose God and his messenger, even if they were their fathers or their sons or their brothers or their tribe. Those are the ones, then he says, those are the ones in whose hearts he has decreed the faith and supported them with a spirit from him, and he will admit them into gardens beneath which rivers flow. Eternally therein, God is pleased with them, and they are pleased with him. Those are the party of God. Verily, indeed, the party of God, they are the successful. This is the verse. It is not saying the spirit is inside us. God will support you with the spirit. That is different because you already have a nafs, you have a soul. It was only Adam who had a spirit blown into him. But then still, Adam did not become a spirit. His spirit blown into him. So now, here, Quran chapter 4 verse 1, God is going to simplify the answer. God says, "Oh, you mankind, reference your Lord, the one who created you from one soul, not one spirit." God didn't create you from one spirit. He created you from one soul. Listen carefully. Chapter 4 verse 1. "Oh, you mankind, reference your Lord, the one who created you from one soul, not one spirit." Adam was not a spirit. No. After God blew that spirit into Adam, remember, God created Adam and blew the spirit into Adam. He now became a nafs. He didn't become a spirit. Okay. "O you mankind, reference your Lord, the one who created you from one soul and created its mate from it and transmitted from both of them many men and women." Thank you. Now let's go. But I'm just, because a spirit came to Maryam in a human form also. We saw it,
Yes,
right?
I have no problem with that.
Do you agree with that?
I have no problem with it at all.
Thank you. So now I'm quoting a verse. Let's see if Isa is a spirit or not. So Quran chapter 4 verse 171. "O people of the book, do not trespass in your religion nor say about God except the truth. The Messiah, Jesus the son of Mary, was only a messenger of God," that is number 1, "and his word," that is number 2, "which he delivered to Maryam, and a spirit from him." Brother Hamza Malik,
Yes.
this verse you are using, please read it from your end and tell me if Isa is not a spirit.
Yeah, I don't have my Quran before me right now, but here's my point. When you say he,
I don't understand this part Hamza Malik said. He said he doesn't have his Quran next to him at that point because we are having a dialogue. As the topic is based on the Quran. But he said he doesn't have his Quran with him. I didn't understand that point when he said that. Ladies and gentlemen, just check below the comments below. Akani, look what he said. He says Adam had a mother and a father. Hey, hey, why is it Akurobetu, where are you? Hey.
God have mercy upon us.
Let's continue. You see, the internet is a free world. People just come, type bullshit. Sorry, excuse me, BS, type whatever they want. Oh my God. Hey, Akani, when I finish, I'll open the phone lines. You call, okay? Thank you.
He is a spirit. That means was he was he insane? Was he insane?
The verse is speaking for itself.
Yeah, I'm saying when you say he was a spirit, that means he's a ghostly, disembodied.
No, Hamza Malik. No. The spirit who came to Maryam is a spirit, but he appeared in a human form. Isa is a spirit, but he has to appear in a human form because people will run away if he doesn't appear like a human being. They will run away. So he has to come in a human form to the people. That is the idea. That is why he doesn't have a father. Because God wants to use him as a miracle to the people. God creates whatever he wills. Quran chapter 3 verse 47, he just gave the answer. He creates whatever he wills. So the idea of Isa coming to appear as a human was to make it easy so that people can actually cooperate. Because if he appears like an angel or spirit, people will be running away.
Being.
How is that?
Because that's what a spirit is.
If it's disembodied being, how did the other spirit came in a human form to Maryam?
Because they came in a human form.
Thank you. He came in a human form does not make him a human being. Are you getting me? Just because a cake, the cake you eat for your birthday is decorated as a monkey, doesn't make it a monkey. Hello, are you with me? The cake, or just like a zebra is dressed like a horse, doesn't make it a horse. Ladies and gentlemen, when you see a leopard looking like a cat, does not make it a cat. Hey. Or you see a dog looking like a lion, does it make it a lion? Thank you. So now we are speaking about Isa.
So you're saying Jesus came in human form and he was a spirit like the Holy Ghost? That's part of the Trinity.
I didn't say Holy Ghost.
Incarnated.
No. Who is talking about the Trinity here? Who talks about? So Hamza Malik was shifting the goalpost, making it seem as if we are talking about Christians or No, nobody is talking about Jesus being God. I'm letting God speak, for God's sake. Hamza Malik, please. Let's let God do the speaking.
Yeah.
God says he's a spirit. Yes or no? The verse. Guys, do you see how long it takes Hamza Malik to answer that question? Hey, Baizabadu. I'm just doing a post dialogue analysis, right? With Hamza Malik, I think we might schedule another part 2 maybe in the middle of this month, God willing. I need to clear some obstacles on my way. We will schedule by middle of next month. Middle of this month, not next month, right? Yeah. Propagator. Yeah, I come to that. I'll come to that. Let me finish this part. I will answer this part, right? God says he's a ruh. Yes or no?
I'm saying no. He doesn't say. He is. I'm saying he possessed a spirit like we all do.
But
We
God, the verse doesn't say he possesses a spirit. The verse doesn't say Isa possesses it. It says he's a spirit from God. Simple. That's what God says.
all do. He was a nafs as well. He was a nafs. Was
Nowhere does it say he's a nafs. Nowhere in the Quran does it say. And so what Hamza Malik was doing, he was giving his opinion. Baba Shoaib, I make the verses of God speak. This is why the mushriks and whoever is scared to have, direct confrontation, because I will make you confess in the eyes of the people. Baba Shoaib, I'm here to let the verses of God speak. Unless you come with your opinions, then people are going to see everything. Let the verses of God speak.
he a nafs?
I'm letting the verse speak, for God's sake. I'm not saying any other thing you are saying now. Let God speak.
Yeah.
Remember, Quran chapter 10, verse 82. You do agree with me. God says he will enforce the truth with his words.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, let me put it so the audience can see the verse. Chapter 10, verse 82. This is what God says. And God will enforce the truth with his words, not my words, not Hamza Malik's words. He will enforce the truth, and that's what we are here for. He will enforce the truth with his words, even if the criminals dislike it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's go back to the verse God is speaking. So God is speaking, telling the people who Isa is.
What verse are you quoting again now?
For chapter 4, verse 172.
Okay,
I'm
good.
going back to initially. And the Arabic is just there clearly, but I'm just, for the sake of argument, let's use the English here because it's a word-for-word translation. God says, "O people of the book, do not trespass in your religion, nor say about God except the truth." And this truth can only be established by God, right? So now we are going to say except the truth, right? Now it says the Messiah, which you agree he's the Messiah, Jesus, which you agree, son of Maryam, which you agree. Then he says was only. The word in Arabic, innama, emphasized in the Quran, is to place an emphasis on what is coming, that is the only thing the person is. Was only a messenger of God, that is number one. And his word, that is number two, which he delivered to Maryam. And or as a spirit from him. So from God.
And that spirit is how do you get to be the spirit? God breathed the spirit into him or something?
You see, the simplicity of the Quran is to let the Quran do the speaking, then you take what the Quran says. No argument. You can reason on what the Quran says, but no argument. When it's clearly written, it's clearly written. There's no argument. It is not Baba Shoaib coining my own word and tell you this or that. I'm just saying that God says he is a spirit. The answer is yes or no. Hamza Malik says no, he doesn't agree, even though it is written there. So, because when he says yes, he agrees, the argument will end very easy. So he has to say he disagrees. He's going to do his homework and come back for the part 2, right? Somebody asked me concerning Quran chapter 22, verse 75. Quran chapter 22, verse 75. It says, God chooses messengers from the angels and from the people. Indeed, God is hearing and seeing. This is the verse propagator. You asked me to talk about this verse. God chooses messengers from the angels and from the people, right, among mankind. Indeed, God is hearing and seeing. Yeah. Let me continue with the part he was talking. The main program I'm doing here, we are more focused about the spirit aspect, right? The spirit aspect. That is what the post analysis I'm doing here is for that issue, right? So here,
You now for clarification.
okay, so let me go and tell you how he became the spirit. Quran chapter 66, verse 12. By the means of his mother, this is how God made him a spirit. God says, also Maryam, the daughter of Amram, who fortified her private part. So we blew fihi, the word we use in Arabic as a masculine pronoun, fihi here, is to denote that God already made him, he inside her, he, blowing that spirit into him, used as masculine.
Yeah.
So fihi already. So that is why, apart from he being a spirit, he has Holy Spirit with him. None of us here is supported by Holy Spirit. Nobody can give me evidence in the Quran where he says any human being apart from Jesus has, not even the prophets. Does he say they are supported with Holy Spirit with them? No, only Isa. And I can give verses to back that up. And only Isa in the Quran was made as a sign among all the messengers sent by God. He's the only one. Okay, so Shurulini, salam to you. Shurulini is saying, let me make this way. Shurulini is saying, Salam Baba, you take on this. They both, Maryam and Isa, used to eat food. Yes, I agree. And then, while the spirits that came to Ibrahim appearing as human did not eat food. Now, what you fail to realize is, Shurulini, it doesn't say spirits came to Ibrahim. So let's put the verse on the screen. Chapter 11, verse 70. Let me go up. So I start from, let's say, 69. I put it on the screen. Shurulini, we are going to examine the verse you just mentioned. And I know this argument. When people will say spirits don't eat, where in the Quran does it say spirits don't eat? Did God say that spirits don't eat? This is not coming from God. It's the opinions of people. You say spirit does not do this, spirit does not die, spirit. Hey, where did God ever say this? Nowhere. These are the assumptions of people. That is why I said God will enforce the truth with his words, even if the criminals dislike it. So Shurulini, let's check. Chapter 11, verse 69. And suddenly our messengers came to Abraham with good news. They said, peace. He said, peace, and did not delay to bring roasted beef. Then it continues. 70. And when he saw their hands did not touch it, he denied them and sensed fear of them. They said, do not fear. Indeed, we have been sent to the people of Lot. Verse 71. And his wife was standing, and she laughed when we gave her good news of Isaac, and beyond Isaac, Jacob. The verse doesn't say spirits do not eat. Nowhere does it say the angels do not eat food or spirits do not eat. You see, there's a fine line between the truth and what people assume. It is only people assuming this is spirit. It's not talking about having a spirit in the verse. It's talking about the messengers of God, which we can assume is angels. But the point is, here, it doesn't say the angels don't eat food, nor does it say the spirits don't eat food. They didn't just touch the food Abraham gave them, because that is not part of the assignments they were given. Remember, when God sends them, he sends them with a command. Quran chapter 97, you read from verse 4 to verse 5. The angels descend with the spirits with the command, or by the command of God, to carry out the command of God. So the idea of people saying spirits do not eat, spirits do not die. Who told people this? Who? Tell me which God is telling people spirits don't die? Which God is telling people spirits don't eat? No, I want to understand. Who? Shurulini, I hope you get my point. Yes, salam to you, MFG. Guys, I hope you are getting my point. Where did the people get notion that spirits do not eat? Who told you that? Where? Give me a verse in the Quran where it says spirits do not eat. No, I'm waiting for anyone to show me a verse where it says spirits do not eat, or where it says spirits do not die, or where it says there's more to the list. Show me a verse. Anybody? Anybody, please show me where it says spirits do not eat and spirits do not die. Show me a verse. I'm waiting. Guys, I'm waiting. Anybody in the comment section, just show me a verse. I'm waiting. Where it says spirits do not eat and spirits do not die. These are assumptions we the people assume because we don't want God to speak. We don't want God to speak. So we always think we know better than God. We assume things before the truth. That is the problem. That is why Baba Shuaib kept on quoting chapter 10 verse 82. This is the truth. Chapter 10 verse 82. Oh, sorry. Chapter 10 verse 82. God says, and God will enforce the truth with his words, even if the criminals dislike it. The truth can only come from God. So I'm waiting for anybody to show me where it says spirits do not die, or show me a verse where it says spirits do not eat. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Okay, anyways, let's continue. Sign.
No, that's not true. But I'll show you in a minute. But now you just quoted chapter 66, verse 12.
Yes.
That God blew into Mary the
Yes.
Spirit. What
Yes.
about chapter 21, verse 91? What does it say?
Yes. Similarly, I go again.
Not, it's totally different.
I didn't say it's the same. I say similarly. When something is similar, doesn't mean it's the same. So Hamza Malik was misunderstanding the choice of word I used. When he asked me concerning chapter 21, then I said similarly. Similarly meaning it was blown into her. But remember, Maryam is already alive. Unlike Isa, he wasn't even in the world yet. It was already pre-planned by God because he made the egg inside her already a male. That's why the spirit was blown into that. And then it became Isa. But when he quoted this next verse we are going, when I say similarly, Hamza Malik thought I was saying the word same. The word similar is not the same as the word same. So I was saying similarly, it was blown. That's what I meant by the similarly, right? So I think he misunderstood my point. As a sign among all the messengers sent by God, he's the only one made as a sign.
No, that's not true.
So here I proved him wrong. I proved him wrong on that because I think he wasn't paying attention on what I said, right? I was saying among all the messengers and the prophets, Isa was the only one made a sign as a miracle. Among all the messengers and the prophet, I repeat, I said messengers and the prophets. Some people are misunderstanding my point, and then they say, "Oh, the youth of the cave was made as a sign." And in Quran chapter 2, verse 259, somebody was put to death for 100 years. Does it say it's a messenger? Does it say it's a prophet? And then apart from that, the youth in the cave, does it say they are prophets? Does it say they are messengers? So my statement still stands. I was saying among all the messengers and among all the prophets, there is nowhere, none of them was made as a sign. That's what I said. So Hamza Malik made a mistake thinking that I was saying nobody. So he even went ahead to quote concerning, how will I say, concerning Noah. So not knowing, he didn't pay attention to the structure of the verse itself. It is rather referencing to the sheep as a sign, not Noah.
But I'll show you in a minute. But now you just quoted chapter 66, verse 12.
Yes.
That God blew into Mary the
Yes.
Spirit. What
Yes.
about chapter 21, verse 91? What does it say?
Yes. Similarly, I go again.
Not, it's totally different.
No, I go again. I'll show you.
Yeah.
You see how he said totally different? I say similarly, meaning it was blown as a spirit. Same thing, similarly. Not this thing. 21 verse 91. It says also Miriam, that is Mary, I just put because the context is showing it's Miriam, the one who fortified a private fire. So we blew into her. Now it's talking about her as a picture. You asked me the question concerning Isa, how he became a spirit. That's why I gave you the other reference. Here is a reference pertaining to Miriam herself.
So she became a spirit also because it blew it into her.
She was already alive. She was already a human being. She already has a nafs. So if you are saying she became, it doesn't make sense. The point here doesn't make sense. Saying she also became, when Isa was already inside her, the spirit was blown because the message, she already sees a message that the spirit will be blown into her so that she will conceive a child. So when Hamza Malik asked me the first question, I went to show him how Isa came about to be inside Maryam. So here, God is telling us that that spirit was blown into Maryam. Because regardless of Isa being inside her, it is still inside Maryam. The spirit is being blown. So when God says here, chapter 21, verse 91, that the spirit was blown into her, it still stands in a similar fashion. No, into her, blowing into her. We are not talking about her being a spirit. We are
Of
talking
our
about
spirit.
Isa. No, we are talking about Isa being a spirit.
Yeah, but it says here, we breathe into her of our spirit, into
Yes.
her.
Even
Before it
Adam.
was breathed into him of our spirit. Now it's breathed into her of our
Okay,
spirit.
what was the reason for the blowing the spirit into her? Look at the context. Chapter 21, verse 91. This is the reason why the spirit was blown into her, so that the context will reveal itself clearly for people to see. This is the context. Quran chapter 21, verse 91. Also, Maryam, the one who fortified her private part. So we blew into her from our spirit, and we rendered her and a son as a sign for the world. So they became a miracle. This is why they are unique. The mother and the son became a miracle. This is why some people idolize them, because it's unprecedented. It never happened anywhere, right? So the mother and the son became a sign, a miracle for the people. I don't know why it's difficult for people to understand. Then when you continue the verse, it says, indeed, this your nation is what? Is one nation, and I am your Lord, so worship me. That's it. Right? So the main issue we were discussing, we focus on the spirit aspect and the miracle. But at the end of the day, Brother Hamza Malik actually gave us the understanding that he didn't believe in spirits and miracle. He doesn't believe in miracle. So we are going to find out when I have the second dialogue with him where he actually stands. Right? So ladies and gentlemen, let me open the phone lines. For people who want to call in the program, you're welcome to call. I put the numbers on the screen. This is the number +358 466 803144. That's the number down there. And for those on TikTok, I'll be coming to TikTok, so you get yourself ready. If you have any questions to ask, yes, be ready. I'm coming there. But this is the phone number you can call, and I'm putting the invitation link where people can join as a guest. Let me put here. I'm putting the link. You can join as a guest. Oh, sorry. This one. You can join as a guest. Let me see. Let me pin yeah, good night to you. Okay, you are tired, huh? I'm putting, how do you call it? Yeah, you're welcome to call concerning. Okay, Omar Satauru says, chapter 32, verse 7 to verse 9. Yes, let me talk about that. Chapter 37, 32, verse 7 to verse 9. Yeah. I think I have a guest. I'll pick up the guest very soon. Let me talk about this first. I put this verse on the screen. It says, "Who perfected everything which he created and initiated the creation of the human being from clay. Then he made his offspring. He made the human being's offspring from the extraction of a despised liquid." Verse 9, "Then he organized him and blew into him from his spirit and granted you hearing, eyesight, and minds. Really are you thankful?" Yes, Omar Sataur. Yes, that is the verses I'm reading. I mentioned these verses to Hamza Malik in our dialogue. Yes. This is the verses I mentioned. And I said in this verse, it doesn't mention the mate. It doesn't mention a spouse. It doesn't mention any wife. It just mentioned the human being straightforward. And then he made his offspring from the despised liquid. And then he organized him and blew. So here he's talking about how he made the human being in the first place. Okay, so we have our first guest here.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Your name and where you're calling from?
Calling from the UK.
Are you Muslim?
Yes, Alhamdulillah.
And what is your name?
It's right there on the screen.
A username doesn't actually denote that is your name.
Just call me Akan, innit?
Akan.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
or Akani, whatever you want to call me, innit?
No problem. Because earlier on I saw the name Akani. Now I see Akan Jabba.
Yes.
Okay,
Java.
no problem. Do I? How may I help you?
Boom. So I wanna go through a quick verse with you. I got a lot of smoke, but I wanna take this.
You said
time
you have
time.
a
Not
lot of
ready
what?
right now. For
You said
another
you have
time more.
a lot of what?
I've got a lot of smoke for
Does it come
people
with
like
fire?
you, the Quranist or whatever, but I don't want to go into that right now.
Does it come with fire?
Trust me, man. I don't even think you're ready for me, personally.
I have water here.
Don't worry.
Guess what?
You know us, Akans, you know us Ghanaians, we're stubborn, we're very fiery.
You are a Ghanaian?
Of course.
Okay, no problem.
Cool, so let's talk. Surah 66 verse 12. Can you read that for me?
No, tell me your argument first. Why I'm reading that? What's your argument?
I want to know, how do you read this verse? Surah 66 verse 12.
Did you watch the program when I was doing? Did you start from? Were you here most of the time?
Pardon?
Were you here most of the time watching the program I was doing?
I wouldn't say I saw from the beginning, but I saw a little bit. I
Okay,
was
so
listening. I
you
was
didn't
listening
see,
while I was doing some errands, but
because
I'm
I
here
just
now.
spoke about the verse not long ago before I opened the phone lines. That
66:12,
particular verse.
innit? Yeah, I think I heard you say that. Yeah.
Yes. So then why are you asking me to read it again?
What? No. Wallahi, I didn't hear you read it. I quickly popped out my room and came back. I had you on speaker, and so I weren't following, but I heard
Okay.
that. I heard that. That's why I made a little reply in the comment section. But can you read it again, please, if possible?
Okay. Chapter 66, verse 12, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
No, I can't see it. No. Yeah, I
Okay.
can see it now. Yeah.
So he says, also Mariam, the daughter of Amraham, who fortified her private part, so we blew therein, that is, into him, from our spirit, and she gave credence to the words of her Lord and his books, and was of the obedient.
Oh, so you translated it as blew into him.
Now, you can see, you say you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yes, so therein.
So fihi,
Therein.
in him.
Then therein. He can mean it. It's a
Yeah, it can
masculine.
be it or it could be him.
Yes, it can be it can be him, based on the language, the linguistic rules.
Yeah.
But here is considered it because it has not come out as a human yet.
So are you sure that we can't find this in any other translation of the Quran?
Translation is none of my business. We are talking
Yeah,
about the
then fine.
Quran.
Then it's easy to say that it's not just your interpretation that I can go by. We can use another interpretation.
We are not
right?
talking about interpretation. We are talking about translation. There's a difference.
So the fihi in other interpretations is translated as blew into him. More than one, at least 3 different translations is
We
out
call
there.
it translation. That is none of my business.
Isn't this a translation you're doing as well?
Okay, let's read the Arabic then. Can you read Arabic?
Yeah. Slowly, small, but yeah, I can read it.
Okay, then it says fihi. So we just
Mhm.
spoke about the linguistical aspect of the language, and I told you it can mean it.
And it can mean him. That's why when
Okay,
Allah
but
said
then,
blew into Adam, he said fihi. Didn't
okay,
he?
Adam, because Adam is masculine, right?
Oh, come on, man.
What is come on?
Come on, man. Hey, yo. Can we move to the next question I've got for you then? You didn't answer that still.
Okay, you have a last question to ask. Can you ask me the last question? Then I bring more serious people on.
Yeah, cool. So based on, let me get my other note back. So do you believe in only Quranic? Like you don't believe in no hadith, none of that, right?
The Quran is the hadith. So
the history of Islam, who told you it? Like, how do you know about the caliphs? Like, Umar?
Islam didn't start with Prophet Muhammad. It started even at the time of Noah.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about his time, the people around him. Who do you know who's who? How are we getting these names? Where they come from?
None of my business. God didn't ask me to follow them.
So how can you prove historically the Islamic narrative?
I don't need to prove to anybody. God asked me to believe in his words.
So
I believe in
before you was born,
yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was the narrative of that book?
Which
the
book?
Mus'haf, the Quran. What was the narrative to it?
The narrative is to study the book
Before
and get the answers.
Can you see what you're saying? Can you show me the same person, tongue for tongue, word for word, character for character, like you saying this thing before you was born?
Can I show you which character for character? Who?
Basically, before you ever existed. this Quranist only. Can you provide?
I'm not here to
just like-
speak. I'm not a Quranist. What do you mean by Quranist? What religion is that?
That is you do your own. You don't go with the Sunnah. You don't go with the tradition.
Did the Prophet follow the Sunnah?
Allah said in the Quran that there's a sunnah of Allah. There's a sunnah. There's a tradition going on. This is why the Prophet.
So that's wait. You said Sunnah of God. Did you say the Sunnah of Prophet or Sunnah of God?
But you don't know what the Sunnah of God is. You genuinely don't know. Okay, let me ask you something. Salah, yeah, the prayer. Is it something that just started with Islam?
How many questions are you asking me?
It's all to do with this. It's all to do with this. The second question I've got for you.
You asked me a first question. Can I ask you now my turn to ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
No. I want you to answer the second one first.
And I said, you asked me a
easily
first
answer
question.
Your second
one. Wait.
You two wait now.
I'll kick you off. I'll kick you out.
Go on. I'm listening. Go on.
You asked me the first question. Now let me ask you a question. Are you a Sunni?
Yes.
Where did God ask you to become a Sunni?
He didn't ask me to become a Sunni anyway. Where did God ask you to become a Quranist?
I'm not a Quranist.
So then what are you?
I'm a Muslim.
How are you a Muslim?
Have a nice day. Yeah, salam. Who is this?
Assalamu alaikum, Baba. This is Faiz.
Wa salam, my brother.
I'm from America. I'm currently here. I'm an Indian. I've got some questions which are off topic. So if you don't mind, can I ask them?
Yeah, no problem, but you should be snappy.
Okay. So when there is a part where during the ghusl, you're supposed to cleanse your body, right? So I want to ask, does cleansing means the full body wash or just cleaning the parts that are like dirty?
It depends on the situation you find yourself.
So
if let's say my full body is dirty and we use the word cleanse, that means I have to cleanse my whole body.
Yeah.
If it's just one side of my body, let's say I've already showered, but then something touched my leg and only my leg is dirty, I have to cleanse that side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The other question I want to ask is, as you said, changing the creation is not allowed. So what I want to ask is, is piercings allowed in Islam?
You said changing the creation?
Yeah. For example, like you piercing or for changing the creation as in circumcision or, having a tattoo on your body, which changes like a permanent change on your body.
Okay.
So is it the same ruling for piercings or?
Sorry. Yeah, it depends. Let's check the verse. Quran chapter 4, verse 118. Who actually convinces people to do such things? And we are going to find out. In Quran chapter 4, verse 118, it talks about the devil. God has cursed him, for he said, I will take an ordained share of your servants. Verse 119. And I, the devil, will mislead them. I will make them a spy. I will command them to let them slit the ears of livestock. And I will command them to let them change the creation of God. And whoever takes the devil as an ally besides God, then he has lost by a clear loss. So for instance, the GMO foods we are seeing is changing the creation of God. Now GMO is being affected, right? They try to make artificial modified foods, right? Is it genetic modified organism or something? They modify the foods, and that is considered a command from the devil. So this is God telling us what the devil would do in advance already from the Quran. So we can see what they are trying to do by changing the creation of God, making things become different. A man will be changed to become a transgender. A woman trying to become a man. They give them pills that you can eat to change the hormones, and then you become something. So these are part of the changing the creation of God. But other than that, the question now arises: why does a person want to do the piercing? For which reason? And who commanded you? For what reason?
To beautify myself, for example, just to appeal to the opposite sex.
To beautify yourself.
Yes.
And that command is coming from who?
Personal desire.
Desire. So that is where the devil comes in, because the devil will be playing with your desires. So some things which we actually do, if it is not something which will actually lead you to God, or like make you get closer to God, then the devil is trying to play with our conscience. So this is where he will force us to change our creation, the creation of God, and then we say, "Oh, it's my body; I can do what I want." So that is the problem. You understand? But if for health reasons, or for physical, you know, uh, issues that you have, then you want to just, get the doctors to change to fix something, that is a different scenario. But if to do it for the sake of what? Somebody will say, "Oh, I just have a feeling I just need to have tattoos on my body," and the consequences you have to face when you want to take the tattoo off is terrible.
I
For
was like,
people who have already done it, you have already done it. It's in the past. There's no problem. That's in the past. But I don't recommend people doing that.
my question. I mean, I know tattoo is bad. It has problems on your skin, so it is like very wrong. I just wanted to know if piercing also falls under the same category.
Piercing, it depends.
Ear piercing.
It depends. Ear piercing, like for ladies in a culture, in a community, ladies have to do it to differentiate between, sometimes we have scenarios where it becomes a necessity. But from who? Whose command? It is not mandatory though for women to pierce their earrings. It's not mandatory. If they want to, that's fine. That's up to them. But I'll say certain things I don't recommend it.
Right. I have like one or two more questions, so if you can allow me to ask.
Okay.
So we have to say recite the Bismillah before we eat any food, and we
Yeah.
should stay away from the food which is not halal, basically, which is not good according to the Quran. Now, in America, after my research, most of the things that I've read, it's like the basic things which are easy and cheap to get are filled with toxins or ingredients that I have no clue about, which can be right or wrong. So, uh, what is the ruling? Like, should I still like? How am I supposed to deal with this?
So first of all, God says, "O you mankind," in chapter 2, verse 168. He says, "Eat from what is on earth, lawful and good, and do not follow the steps of the devil. Indeed, he is a clear enemy to you." Now, do you see what God says we should eat? Not only lawful, but what?
Is
But
good.
good. So there are ways to find out if something is good or not. That's why when you buy something, even if it is chemically produced, you see the ingredients written at the back of it.
Yeah.
And then you see the energy levels and whatever benefits you are going to get from it.
Yes.
Then you see if it is genetically modified. They will write it on there. If it's a GMO, they write it sometimes, right? So that you know what you are going to put inside you. But then it has to be lawful. Lawful means something that God actually has allowed you to eat. Are you getting my point? So for instance, pork meat has been forbidden for you to eat. So you already know this is not lawful. Then, regardless of it being something being lawful to eat, you have to make sure it is also good to be consumed. We have food which are expired, even though it might be good, chicken, but it could be expired. You understand?
Yes.
So you don't need to eat, regardless of a chicken being halal. But if it's expired and you're going to eat, it's not good. So God classified these two statements to mankind. This is not only going to believers; it's for mankind, because remember, foodborne diseases can spread easily. When people start getting like diseases from food, it can spread in a community, in a society, and then everybody can die. So this is for mankind in general. So these are laws governments have to take in place and implement in the country. That's why certain countries, or almost every country, has the Food and Drugs Board. We call it FDA. They normally check the issues concerning what food comes into the country and which is allowed to be eaten and so on. So those things, as a believer, you have to take it seriously to investigate where the food is coming from and who is the supplier.
If the supplier cannot be trusted, then what do we do about the food?
If you don't trust somebody, will you give him your money?
No, but then we don't have any other option, right? Because
There are other options, because that food is not the only food you can eat. There are always other foods you can eat.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah.
So if it is meats and you don't trust the meat seller, you can now buy fish or buy something else.
Right.
That's the point. So, for instance, myself, when I go to places and I don't trust the vendors or I don't trust the sellers of that particular product, I don't buy it from them.
Hmm.
Yes, I go to another shop or somewhere else to buy.
So, sir, upon my research, like the more I research, the more I come to know that everything is being controlled by just one sect of people in this country, and they are like very pagan, like super pagan people who are just kind of implementing GMOs and destroying everything around them. So when I know that if the country is running under them, the laws, the FDA, all of that is working under them, then how can I still trust whatever that I'm being fed? How
Quran chapter
can I do that?
17, verse 36, God says, "Do not pursue that of which you have no knowledge."
Mm-hmm.
It is very, very important. Quran chapter 17, verse 36. It says, "Do not pursue that what you have no knowledge about.
But
Indeed, the
this is
hearing,
after
the
me
eyes."
researching
Huh?
against. This is me after I've researched and read, a lot of research papers, a lot of papers, and then coming to a conclusion that it is wrong. So now what do I do? Like once I've proved that this is from the same people who are just misguiding everything and mislabeling things as good and bad. So what can I do now?
You can start eating seafood. You know, seafood, you can find places where you can get seafood to buy.
And what if it's not feasible? Because that's the one thing which is expensive, seafood.
Yes, if it's expensive, look, there's always option when it comes to market sales. There's
Hmm.
places we can get cheap regardless.
Will I be
Uh,
wrong to comply with them? Because now, even though I know
if
that
you
it is
don't have a
wrong, but I
choice,
don't have yeah, I don't have a choice.
if you don't have a choice,
Hmm.
sometimes we find ourselves in situations where we don't have a choice. There's nothing you can do. If you don't have a choice, you eat. I've been in a situation where I remember going to is it KFC? I went to KFC, I ordered something with beef inside and I didn't eat the beef. I took the beef out. And
Mm-hmm.
I ate that burger alone with the
Hmm.
cheese, but I didn't eat the beef. I took the beef out because I saw the beef, I didn't trust it. And I'm like, no, I can't trust this.
True.
You understand? So, and food works in this way. The moment your brain start to think about it and rejects it, if you consume it, you're either going to vomit or something terrible is going to happen to you.
Can
That's
you
how food.
repeat that again? What did you mean?
Huh?
Can you repeat that again? I didn't understand what you
The
meant.
moment you are going to eat food and then your brain start telling you this food is bad for you, you shouldn't eat it.
Hmm.
Or something terrible is going to happen to you.
Okay. I also have like two more questions. Uh, if I'm able to, if I can ask them.
Ask me last question, please.
Uh, can I wear shorts like cover up until my knees as my modesty when I'm praying, when I'm about to establish the salah, or do I
There's
have
nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that.
okay? And when when I'm in the sujud, like when I'm in the prostration, can I can I make my own dua, or should my duas also be coming from the Quran?
There's nothing wrong with your own dua. You can use your own dua as long as you're communicating to God. There's nothing
Hmm.
wrong.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. That's all I
You're
have.
welcome. You're welcome, brother. God bless.
Thank you.
Peace. Guys, I've done 2 hours, 30 minutes. I'll be going to TikTok. Thank you all for those who are sending me the gift. God bless you. I'll be going to TikTok before I end the program. So if you have anything else, I'm willing to tolerate one more guest before I go. The best part, salam to you. You're welcome. You're welcome, brother. Uh, yes, the Sunnis will tell you wearing shorts is haram because that's their own religion. They created a new religion out of nowhere. Balogun Olayinka, I see you, brother. Peace to you. Um, yeah. Okay. What do we have here? So, guys, if we don't have any more callers, I might end the program. Today is Thursday. We are into Friday already. I have a busy day ahead. I have to work the next day. But I have to go to TikTok for a bit before I go. Yeah. We have one more caller before I go. Yeah. Happy birthday next week. Yes. Salam, brother.
Hey, salam, I'm sure it's Brother Omar from Canada here.
You're welcome.
How are you doing?
Thanks to God.
I'll try to
Alhamdulillah.
make it quick because I know you gotta go. My question is, well, okay, I'll just do two. So when Prophet Muhammad was receiving revelation, through Angel Gabriel, was there any time that anybody was present with him, or was it always just him and Angel Gabriel bringing it down upon him?
He was always alone. There was no witness to it, and I can give you a verse to back that up.
Okay.
So, for instance, chapter 29, when we go to verse 52, he says, let me put it on the screen. He says, "Say, sufficient is God as a witness between me and you. He knows whatever is in the heavens and the earth. As for those who believe in falsehood and disbelieve in God, they are those who are the losers." Right? Then, apart from that, I take you to Quran chapter 17. Let me see here. Chapter 17. Is it? So we have, yes, Quran chapter 6, verse 19. Yes, in Quran chapter 6, verse 19, it says, "Say, what at all is greater in testimony? Say, God is a witness between me and you that this Quran has been inspired to me in order to warn you by it, and whoever it may reach." So you see who is a witness between. Do you see who is a witness?
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah, God.
"Say, God is a witness between me and you." He's telling his people. It's the God who is the witness that this Quran has been inspired to me in order to warn. So God revealed it to him. And that is why God put forth the challenge in Quran chapter 4, verse 82, by saying that, "Do they then not contemplate the Quran? And had it been from other than God, they would have found numerous contradictions therein." Right?
Yeah, I actually just because I had some people, because of Quran alone, they're putting forth arguments to me, based on the fact that they believe the Sahaba preserving the Quran and Hadith and all this. And they're then turning and asking, well, how do we know, or how do I know that I have the originally revealed Quran, the one that the Prophet Muhammad had? But I usually quote to them, and I say that to me doesn't matter, because there's a verse, I can't remember which one, it says that even if the angels were to bring down the pages written, the people still wouldn't believe. So for me, that to me tells me that even if God brought down the original Quran, people wouldn't believe it if they saw it with their own hands from God or the angel. I forgot the verse number, what it is.
Yeah, you know, for the sectarians, they don't allow God's words to speak. They use their own opinions to try to override what God is saying. So then they will tell you, oh, whenever the angel comes to Prophet Muhammad, the Sahaba are sitting with him, and then you come and deliver the verse. It's a lie. According to the Quran, God is only the witness between him and them. They didn't see that. And that is why when they made the Shahada in chapter 63, verse 1, God says they are hypocrites, they are liars. Understand?
Yeah, because they weren't actually there. Yeah.
Exactly. So it is all totally false when he said the prophet went to the mountains in the cave. It's a lie. Is he a Spider-Man or Batman? What is he doing in the cave? Is he a Batman? He has, according to them, he has a wife at home. How can a man who has a wife, Khadija, at that time, according to them, will leave his wife and go to the mountains for what?
Yeah, he should confide in his wife if anything.
Exactly. So even the wife should think, is my husband crazy? I'm here like this, and then he goes to the mountains. Hey. So they just insult the prophet. That's all they do. It's an insult.
And the thing is that even the messenger Muhammad told them, like, look, if you believe or you don't believe, that's all it comes down to. If you don't want to believe that God inspired me, then that's your problem.
That's it. That's why God asked them to contemplate the Quran. If it is not from God, you will find numerous discrepancies therein. That is the challenge. But the nonsense they keep saying that he was sitting with the Sahaba, the angel will come in the human form and tell him, my Rabbuka, my this, my that's a lie. Yeah, total lie.
The other thing was the chapter 32:7-9. Maybe I didn't understand it when you were explaining, but I thought it seemed like it was kind of saying that it was breathing into a spirit and all and being human.
It's talking about the first human creation. I quoted the verse to Brother Hamza Malik during our dialogue. When I quoted, I was quoting to show him that, look, these verses here doesn't mention a mate. It doesn't mention a wife. It only said he created the human being from clay, right? And then he says he created his offspring from a despised liquid, meaning the despised liquid is inside the man.
Right.
Then now he blew his spirit into him. So that's the definition of Adam. That's how Adam was created.
Oh, I see what you mean. He created, let's say he created the shell first from the argyle.
Yes.
Then he put the sperm inside.
Exactly.
And then he put the spirit inside.
Exactly. So it was Adam who has the spirit blown into him, not us. It was him. So that is how. Yes. So that is how his descendants came by. From his sperm.
I don't know if you did already, but perhaps maybe a future lecture could be a lecture on the difference between the soul and the spirit, because I think this usually is what's confusing.
No, I have a file on it. I will be doing a program. They are different. They are not the same. A soul and spirit are not the same, right? Nafs and So this is what people should understand. They are not the same. Never the same. Yeah.
And last, I'll throw one last quick question. Is there a way to know in the Arabic text whether a word should be capitalized when you translate it to English, or is it just based on context?
No, in Arabic, they don't have capital letters or small letters. It doesn't work like that. So if you're translating to another language, that is when you have to follow the other language's rules to make it capital or small. But in Arabic, there's nothing like a full stop. We say full stop, or we say, no, comma, no. The word wa.
I've seen some different translations compared to yours, and even among other ones. The same word messenger, sometimes they're capitaling it, sometimes they're not. The word light, sometimes they're capitaling it, they're not.
Oh, the reason is, how do they know? Yeah, the reason is Quran doesn't follow 100% a rule of a language, like 100%. It doesn't follow the rules because remember, it's a book of God and book of guidance. So, for instance, if you're reading from my translation, you see that God, I write in capital letters and block letters, capital letters. I write to differentiate, to make the reader pay attention to the word and see that, okay, this is God himself. That's why I put in the letters. So the idea of a translator is not only about, you see, when you are translating a language to another language, it's not only about translation. You have to understand interpretation.
Right.
And when you are interpreting, you have to understand the mind of your reader. Yeah, so your reader can actually be in line with what you are writing. That is what translation is about. So it's not about just God says blue in Arabic, then I write blue in English. That's not what it's about. But it's about, does it actually convey the message they want to understand?
Yes.
That is what it entails.
Thank you, Baba. Thank you for answering those questions.
You're welcome.
God bless.
Yes, you too, my brother.
Thank you for helping us let go of our assumptions.
You're welcome. My regards to your family. Peace to you.
Peace.
And tell your uncle, by the way, he should stop running away. He should just be a man.
I specifically mentioned for people to come on the glass house. So
Yeah,
I
tell
don't
him
know
he should
about it.
stop running away. My
That-
phone number is on the screen. He should just
That's
be a
the
man.
thing, though. I don't understand, why do people believe that you have to keep their belief stagnant? Why don't they understand that you could always improve and take things and change your belief if something makes more sense or you see some truth or knowledge?
We call it cognitive dissonance.
Dissonance.
Yes. When the belief becomes so extreme in the person's head, they become very
Mhm.
emotional. So that's when you say
Yes.
things, they start to take it personal instead of looking at it.
Yes.
You know, they don't look.
And
So
I was even telling my wife that when I study a bit more about this word kufar and
Yeah.
disbeliever, to
Yeah.
me, it seems more that it's not so much as just not believing the verses of God, but it seems like it's more early. Like when people become so arrogant, like you said,
yeah.
that they don't even want to listen to what you're going to tell them from the book of God. To me, right then and there is when the person is becoming kufar or becoming a disbeliever, because they don't want to even go farther than that.
Yes, one of the main meanings is ungrateful.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. And so God explained that in Quran chapter 76. I can put it on the screen before you go, so to show you where it's actually being used. God spoke about it here. You say, he says, Inna hadaynahu sabila imma shakiran wa imma kafura. So God says, indeed, we led him to the way. Either he is what? Grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see the screen?
Oh, or ungrateful. Yeah, kufara. Yeah.
Aha. Kafura. So someone who is ungrateful, just like the devil, he's ungrateful. So he's a disbeliever. So in a simplest form, like in a simple form, that is why we use the word disbelief. Yeah. But when you have to go deeper into understanding.
Level, yeah.
Yes, if you go deeper into understanding, it means ungrateful, somebody who rejects something. You understand?
Yes, and then in chapter 2, I see that it uses it as well as somebody or something concealing the truth, when
yes.
they're hiding the truth.
Yeah, because when somebody
of the messenger bringing out the truth.
Yeah, when somebody rejects something. So let me give you an example. When you give somebody a gift,
Mm-hmm.
and they are ungrateful to you concerning the gift, do they use the gift?
No,
they don't use it. They cast it aside. So they hide it. They don't even, because when they put the gift on, when they use it, people will now probe and ask them, hey, where did you get this? Then they will say, oh, brother Omar gave me. So now they are being grateful. But ungrateful person will hide it. That's why they reject it. When they reject something, they don't want to be seen, it to be seen.
Yeah.
So that is in line with the word kafar. You understand? So, but in a simplest form, if you are translating in a language, and you go and write somebody who covers, it doesn't make sense. You detach from the meaning. That is why when it comes to translation, we don't only go by what a word means. You have to interpret the word to put it in line with the context.
Yeah, and it has to make sense in what you're putting it in.
Exactly, in the other language. That's how it works. So thank you very much, my brother. I think I'm moving to TikTok. I'm done here. So
yeah, yes.
We meet again.
You and the family. Take care, brother.
You too. Peace. Yes, guys. I have to bring this to an end. You can meet me on TikTok for the extra part of the. So maybe I'll get some people with the heebie-jeebies. They will come on TikTok. So if you want to enjoy, please join me on TikTok. Let's see if some heebie-jeebie peoples are coming. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is the post-dialogue analysis concerning if Jesus is a spirit. That I have the dialogue with Hamza Malik. And inshallah, we are going to have the part 2 this month, God willing. But till then, join me on TikTok if you have a TikTok. Let's continue. Thank you all for those who stay tuned and watch the program. I appreciate your presence. Salah, thank you all, Abdul. Thank you all, Balogun, all of you, Shurilini, all of you who passed through, who are watching. Thank you, Propagator. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. For those who are able to come to TikTok, you're welcome. Right? So this is where I bring it to an end till we meet again next week. Peace out. Always give them a reason to remember your name. The correctional officer.